Hello, my name is Michael Smith, and this is my life. Today, it is Monday, June the 12th of 2017, and my clock here says it's 5:58 in the AM. Yeah, yesterday was an interesting day. I've been helping on this retreat encounter weekend called Crescio. It's sponsored by the Catholic Church, but it's non-denominational. It's open to anyone who is contemplating a relationship with Jesus Christ. And I did a variety of things. I did a lot of prayer for the weekend. I wrote a couple letters that was read to the group. They break up the stuff that they do with skits. I helped out with skits. I helped in the kitchen preparing meals and washing dishes and clearing tables. And it's amazing how many people come together. I think there was 23 people came forward to decide whether or not they wanted to let Jesus into their life. And it's amazing to me that, geez, just to guess, rough estimate, I would say that probably for every person that went through the weekend trying to make that discernment, there was probably anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 people behind the scenes helping with the weekend. It was just absolutely amazing. One of the things that happens on the weekend is that where we're at is each person leaves and they're given a little cross necklace, and there's a Polanka chapel where you can pray for the people and pray for the volunteers and pray for anybody. Just pray for the weekend, that the weekend goes well or whatever, and you can do all sorts of Polanka there. I'm not going to get into what Polanka is and means. You can Google that and look it up. But they have a giant cross in that room, and on that cross is hung all these little necklaces with the names of who they're going to go to at the end of the weekend. And to see people going into that chapel, going over and taking each necklace and name tag individually, and to kneel in prayer for that person specifically, one by one, it just blew my mind. Beyond all the other stuff that happened on the weekend, it was very humbling, and it was very heartwarming, and it made me feel very special that I get to play a very small role in it. And I hope that, however I help someone in their time of discernment, because I'll tell you, I'm not going to go into great detail right now, but I've lived what I would call inbounds, and I've lived out of bounds. And I'm sure there are those who thought, oh, well, when you lived out of bounds, you probably had a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a little bit of fun. No more fun than I do now that I live inbounds, live as a Christian. But I also feel more whole and more complete. I feel happy, and I feel like I belong. I feel like, instead of wandering in the darkness, I feel like I'm on my way home. I know, if you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't believe in God, if you hate Christianity, or wherever you're at in the spectrum, or maybe you're on the fence, or maybe you're like, yeah, I'm totally Christian, I totally love Jesus with all my heart and soul and strength. Wherever you're at, and I know that maybe it sounds odd, my perspective on it, but I feel really at home. I feel really at peace. I would say that if you don't have Jesus in your life, just me as a person, I would ask that maybe you consider that. I'm not going to sit here and thump my Bible on my desk and say, hey, you're going to hell and you're going to burn and you're a sinner or whatever. I'm a sinner. I'm a Christian. I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to tell you that, I'm not going to judge you. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. But I would invite you to follow Jesus, because if you follow him and listen to his teachings and open your heart up to what he has to offer, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I just feel happy. Isn't that what we're all looking for, is happiness? And you can have... I used to have lots of money, and I used to have lots of things, and I used to have a very selfish lifestyle, really. I had a lifestyle that was geared on making me happy, and I puddle jumped from pleasure to pleasure. At the end of the day, I just wasn't happy. It wasn't enough. There was never enough. There was never enough to eat. There was never enough to drink. There was, there was never enough pleasure to be had. I would have pleasure, and then it was as soon as the pleasure was over, I'd be okay, 5-10 minutes later, I'd be okay, what's next? And I was just a really bad, nasty, black hole consuming, oh man, I was not happy though. Now, even on my worst days, when I'm bummed out or whatever, I still have a peace and serenity, because I know at the core of it, I'm I'm happy. Just to my core, I'm happy. So anyway, the weekend's over. The candidates have gone home. They are now going out on what's called their fourth day, because they're 3 days in the Cursillo program, and then they go out on their fourth day, and that's the most trying day, because they spend a weekend surrounded by Christian love and happiness, and maybe they've changed, but then they go out into the world, and the world hasn't changed. And so it can be a challenge. And I find that even when you just volunteer on the weekend, when you walk away from the weekend helping, even just volunteering with it, you kind of have to be you're around all that love, and it's great, and it's awesome. And then you go back out into the real world and be okay, be patient, love, love. I don't know. So, and it also double coincides for me, because not only am I done with the weekend, but I'm also done with my vacation. I've had the last 2 weeks off helping my wife have a baby and help that transition into just be here and be on call 24/7 for whatever she needs. My wife never calls me for much. She's a pretty independent, strong-willed woman. She's amazing. But I like to hang out and just be around. And usually she doesn't call, but usually I try to keep an ear out. And I don't try to get in her face too much, because she'd be like, just get out of here. To a certain extent, she'll just get frustrated. She won't tell me to get out of there, but she'll start getting frustrated with me because I'm not doing things the way that they should be done. And so I just try to hang out and jump in, and I've gotten a chance to jump in a few times. And it's also a great time for me to just be around my kids and to help with the older kids, and to also to hold the new baby. So I go back to work. This is my first day back to work, and so I go back out sort of more into the world too. So I'm going to love, and then try to love some more. And that's really all you can do, because if you decide to try to force your will, it's like trying to push water uphill most days. So I just try to relax and love. And yeah, that's all I gotta say about that.